Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another first Descendant video. So I thought I'll get a simple Blair build ready for the Ice Maiden for people who wanted to farm the Ice Maiden. Now it's more or less the same as the last time. There is one slight change to the Ice Maiden which I'll talk about soon. So basically what we need to do here, the mechanic of this fight is you need to break her weak points first. When you break her weak points, you get an increase to your base skill power. Okay, so she has one in the middle of her body, like on her abdomen, two on the back of her legs, at the calves, basically two at the shoulders. So the more you break, the easier she'll go down. Basically, you'll get a buff to your base skill power. And if you don't break her weak points, she'll be very strong in the reflex mode. So what we are trying to do here first is we are going to aim in the middle of her body to get that weak point done with our meatball. And then we are basically just still trying to do that. And when you break it, it'll say part destruction grants the Descendant a buff that aids in battle. So there's another fight where I actually stopped mid-fight to show the base skill power number. So I'll switch over to that clip. So over here, this is another clip. So at this point, I'm just running into this. They've changed the way we look at the skills as well. Previously, we used to go to W on the inventory screen. Now we have to go F1 inside the module page. And notice we have base skill power of 129%. So this is what you get from breaking her weak points. It seems this is the maximum you can get. Last time we were getting about, this is 129, we were probably getting like 1200, 1400. Because the critical hit damage hits that I was getting last time was around 12 million, 14 million. This time the maximum I was seeing was around 2.5 million. So the fight is slightly longer, but it's exactly the same. So back to our original clip. So as you can see, when we break the weak point, we get the base skill power increase. We get a little bit at first, but the more weak points you break, the better it is. So you can see now I'm going back and trying to break her weak points at the back of her legs, at the calves. The shoulder ones are a little difficult, but try to break as many as you can. You don't want her to go into the reflex mode with all her weak points intact. And then basically just hit her with your third, hit her with your fourth when you have your chef's touch ready. Use your meatballs, try to break more weak points if you can. You can also use a gun like the restored relic, for example, or maybe the last dagger or something with a fast fire rate to break the weak points. It's not as easy, but yeah, just keep doing that. Avoid her big attacks and wait for her to basically go into the reflux mode. So when she does this, she sort of flips backwards and the arena becomes darker, the color changes. She'll do her dome basically. So when she does that dome, she raises her left arm up in the air and fires a dome. You try to get out as soon as you can and get out of the dome. So you'll see she does that, or it's actually the right arm. So you go here and you just get out and then stay outside the dome and try to do some damage to her. And she'll follow you sometimes like this. Also, you can kill these kingfishers so that you can get some MP and HP drops here. You can also use your second skill to recover your MP and basically just repeat, rinse and repeat. Get your fourth skill fully ready, throw it at the body or something, take more damage. Then she does this thing as well where she goes in the middle and sort of charges herself. So again, you try to break her, don't let her charge, otherwise she'll do a lot of damage and then she'll sort of go down and you can do some more damage. So basically just keep doing that. Later on she might do the dome thing again, just avoid it and just rinse and repeat. So I finished this fight in 2 minutes 42 and it seems like not a lot of people were probably playing Blair or something, because this has been about 6 or 7 hours since the update went live. 242, and I actually tested the leaderboards to see what times people are getting, and at the moment I'm at number 9, which is ridiculous. I'm never in any of these close numbers. People are already like doing 20 seconds or something. So it seems people are not either playing Blair for this fight or there's some other meta. But at the moment, if you have a simple Blair mobbing build, you can use this build and get the job done if you wanted to farm some tokens. I'll see other builds as well. Lepic got a buff, so I wanted to see if Lepic is good. Asimo was also good last time for the Ice Maiden. And of course, we have Serena with her shotguns. She can do a pretty good job as well. So I'm sure there'll be some other people coming out with insane low times or something. So if there is something like that, I'll update you with that. But yeah, let's have a look at the build. All right, so here is the build. Killer Recipe is the Transcendent module. We have the 4 crit mods in Emergency Measures, Frontlines, Concentration, Insight. we have the 2 focus modes, focus on fire, focus on dimension. Skill 1, skill 3, skill 4 are dimension. Also with this update, they have changed how the skill power modifier numbers look. So if you see over here, where it says burst damage, skill power 756, skill power times 824. So this 68.2 is now getting added. So let me remove that. You can see 756 over here. So if you were to add the dimension back, focus on dimension, you'll notice it gets increased to 824. So now that is getting reflected here. The other change they have done with how the skills work is instead of going to the inventory screen and pressing W, you have to go here and press F1 to get the full chart of your Descendant skills and perks. So slightly different, but yeah, hopefully this is more useful. So yeah, so focus on fire, focus on dimension, MP conversion, nimble fingers. One range mod. For the ancestors module, I want more crit damage and fire skill power boost ratio. Now, if you get crit rate, crit damage, fire, that would be ideal. I don't have a lot of crit rate on this one. We have about 68% or something. It's still good enough, but yeah, if you had a lot of crit rate on your ancestors, along with some crit damage and fire, that would be the ideal role. Again, I try to work with whatever I have instead of trying to, hunt for the perfect rolls. I have this one here with a lot of crit damage, but I don't think I have anything with crit rate. So yeah, so those are the things you want on your ancestors module. For the trigger module, we did not have trigger modules last time. We did not have ancestors either. But for this one, you can go with wave eruption, which will help your third skill. Or in my case, I went with infected weapon because skill 1 is continuous damage, skill 3 is continuous damage, skill 4 is continuous damage. So we get that first part of the infected weapon, the continuous damage part. So if you see in the Arche infection where it says damage 265 to 855, that is the part that will be working with this setup. We're not getting the unique weapon thing that works with Frena, but we are getting the continuous damage thing. So no harm in getting a little more damage here using the infected weapon. So I thought this was ideal. I tried a few others, wave eruption and things, and I found this one to be more comfortable. So yeah, so that is the build here. For the reactor, fire and dimension reactor, burning phase reactor, and the stats you want are additional skill attack versus Colossus and cooldown. Now you can also go with additional attack versus Colossus and crit damage. That would be the most powerful setup if you are to take more cooldown from the Arche tuning. I did not have that reactor, so I just used this one. For the external components, we are using the 4 pieces of the firebrand. So what this does is 2 set effect is more range and duration. Duration helps with Blair. And for the 4 pieces, we reduce the fire resistance of the enemy. So again, helpful for us over here. For the Arche tuning, we have this setup. So we are taking the skill power, we are taking the MP recovery out of combat, the skill nodes in the middle, we are taking the additional attack versus Colossus. So make sure you have additional attack versus Colossus on the reactor, otherwise you won't get the benefit of this because these are multiplicative. So you can see the X at the end. So you won't get this if your reactor doesn't have additional attack versus Colossus. If you don't have that, just go with this normal setup of taking the cooldown or something. But yeah, this will only work if you have additional attack on the reactor. We take the enhanced skill power, we take the nodes here, the MP nodes, we go up here and we take burn vulnerability. I tried fire chain catalyst, but we're already getting resistances reduced with the external component, and I actually got better times with burn vulnerability. We get a little more base skill power. So yeah, so this one, cohesion won't work because we only have the kingfishers to kill. So we'll get a little more firepower. So yeah, this one has been working fine for me. So I'm using that. We take the crit rate and the crit damage nodes here as well. So that is your Arche tuning. Inversion reinforcement, again, I'm taking a little bit of cooldown over here so that we can get our skills up again quickly because we're not taking the cooldown from the Arche tuning. Some HP here, reduced incoming damage. And yeah, that is basically it. You don't really need to hold any specific gun here. I'm using the Secret Garden because I have sprint cores on this, so I can run faster. You can, however, use the Restored Relic or something like the Last Dagger to break the weak points of the Colossus. So if you saw me like going around the back and shooting at the back of her calves, if you want, you can use the dagger or something to break that, if it's easier for you to do that, or the shoulder ones. So yeah, you can use the dagger if you wanted to try that tactic. For me, I'm not that successful too many effects on the screen, so harder to break the weak points like that. I just use his third skill and it does the job. So yeah, so that is basically the Blair setup for the Ice Maiden. Of course, like I said, if we find something else, something more efficient, faster, I'll let you know. But for the time being, this is very comfortable. You won't really die here if you keep away from her dome, and you have plenty of HP. And yeah, you're doing pretty much a lot of damage as well. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.